Okay, welcome to another episode of Black Representation in the Curriculum, where we have conversations about culture, equity, and belonging, as well as teaching. But today we have our guest, and it's all related, I promise. We have a guest, Will Adams, today, who is an award-winning producer. And I'm truly thrilled to have you here because when it comes to conversations about culture, teaching, and everything we need to know, it all matters. So welcome, Will Adams.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having taking the time to make make space for me on your show.
Oh, thank you, of course. I want to start with you telling about yourself. Just let us get to know who you are, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm Will Adams from Chicago. I'm a filmmaker. Have quite a few movies under my belt, which you can find on lokekey.com. That's a quick plug. But pretty much, I produce, I write, I direct. I also edit. I'm what you call an all-around independent filmmaker because when people say they're independent filmmakers, they usually say, "Oh, I write, I direct, I do all of that, and I
Wow.
produce."
So that's a lot of hats that you're wearing.
Yeah, and that gets a little tired from time to time.
Wow. So, it's interesting when it comes to I have this fascination with filmmaking, of course. I do mostly well, I shouldn't say mostly. I watch. That's mostly what I do. Um, but I'm so curious, especially for people listening out there, you know, and especially if kids want to listen to this later on. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey here to be a producer?
Well, when I started out, I was just a shooter, so I like to grab the camera, run and gun, and shoot whatever, and I can easily pass you your footage and be done and get my money. And one day I happened to be working on somebody's project that was doing everything I can think could be wrong in my eyes. So
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, you know what? I could do that. So then I created a movie called Kidnap. And I did that and it was trash.
Mm-hmm.
It was a dumpster fire. And I learned that first I learned that you have to direct your talent. Secondly, I learned that everything that looks easy isn't easy. So I had to figure out another way to do the same thing I want to do again with a different project. I couldn't redo the same project again. I had to do something different because that first project was my learning tool. And then the second project, I applied everything that learned that I didn't do in the first project to the second project. And I kept pushing
Okay.
forward.
Do you get bored easily when you said that? I just pictured sometimes myself not being able to like it's very hard for me to teach the same lesson twice. Do you
No,
get bored? Okay, go ahead.
no, because you have to be creative and being an independent, we don't have the money that the studios have. So we have to be independent whenever shooting anything. I mean, we on the street, we're pretty much guerrilla shooting, meaning
Mm,
that no permits. Hey, you watching for the police, uh, for the most part, making sure we get our shots in before they come and shut us down. But you have to be creative in every aspect. It's not like, all right, well, here's the script,
mhm.
here's the locations, here are the actors, let's shoot. It's not the same thing twice. Matter of fact, with Tubi movie, uh, let's go back. My formula to creating any movie is write a script, grab the locations, lock those in because you have the times and the dates, and then grab your actors because your actors usually ask you, when are you going to shoot?
Mhm.
So when they ask you when you're shooting and you don't have a definitive date, you come back to them later on, they say, oh, I'm already doing something. So now you give them the location. But with Tubi movie, since I wanted everybody that's in Tubi movie, I wanted them in it. So it's not like any of them audition. I physically call all of those people up on the phone, all
Oh,
28 of them, and said, "Hey, can you be in this movie?" And they was like, "What's it about?" Well, some people said, "Sure," without even reading the script. And then, Adele Givens said, "Send her the script." I sent her the script, and then she said, like 18 pages in, it was super funny. But what's crazy is she hadn't even read the whole script. She hadn't even read her part yet, which I was shocked. I didn't even get it, write the script before Damon said he would do it. I
mhm.
said, Damon, I was thinking about doing it. He said, yeah, I want to be in. Me and my wife was just talking about it. So yeah, I do it. So, you know, but other people want to see the script. David Walker, he wanted to see the script, but other
Mhm.
people, I just say, "Hey, can you?" Yeah, I'm in it. Like, you don't really, no, I'm cool. Just send me a script when it's ready. But I call all those people, 28 people. That's a lot of people.
Wow, that is a lot of people. No, I'm so curious. When you chose them, is it because you'd seen them act? Did you know? Have you seen them? Did you just know them? I'm just curious about that because pulling together a
Well,
team that worked really well is hard.
okay, so let me take that back. 25 of the people I called personally.
Mhm.
Three,
Okay.
the three Tammys, Eric Jones got those people for me. But everybody else, I personally called up on the phone and said, "Hey, can you be in this? Can you?" Down to the doctor walking into the into the hospital room with the white smock on. I called him up. Hey, it's a small part, but can you do it? And he was like, "Okay, I'm there." And it happened.
Now, since we're talking about the movie, I did have a whole bunch of questions first, but might as well
Okay,
jump
go
into the
ahead.
movie.
No, I'm
I'll
sorry. I'm sorry.
backtrack.
I'm sorry.
No, no, that's problem. Since we're there, because as soon as you said it, I thought about that scene, with the skeleton, with the picture, and I'm just so curious. Who you got to draw that or create that.
Well,
I don't want to give away too much, but I don't know how much you want to give
well,
away.
on
But
on
yeah,
my staff, well, that's in the trailer, so they can see that in the trailer. But on my
okay.
staff, I got two artists. My photographer, he's an artist, and then George
Hmm.
Davis, he's an artist. George Davis is like one of those artists that can just. I say, hey, draw me a finger pointing at the sky. Done. So I
Hmm.
said, hey, can you draw this skull? I want this make it look like an X-ray with a crack in it. He turned around, boom. I said, okay, that's it. We and usually I don't practice. We don't practice, but I knew that Adele, when she saw it, she wasn't gonna be ready for it. So because she was like, yeah, let's get ready to shoot. I said, no, I need you to practice this part first. She was like, Will, you don't usually practice. I said, I get it, but I need. All right, come on. We're just gonna do this part. We're gonna run through it real quick. Oh, he ran through the little part real quick, and then he showed her, and she fell on the floor, and she laughed for 10 minutes. She's like, "Yeah, you did right.
So
You did
did you
right."
kind of start in the middle with the movie, or kind of, when you started filming and everything? Did you start? Because some people I know start in different places.
No,
Okay.
that movie I shot. What scenes did we shoot first? We shot. Oh, you know what? We shot the three Tammys first.
The which one?
Then three Tammys,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and then we shot the scene with the young parents at breakfast second, and
Okay.
then we shot uh the hospital scene third,
Okay.
and then everything else fell down the line.
Nice. I'm cracking because the scenes are now coming back to me as you mention them.
Mhm.
It was a rather funny movie, I do have to say. It was an unexpected twist. What inspired you to create that movie?
Well, so what happened, after you doom scroll, I don't like to say doom scroll because doom scroll means like I'm gonna be deaf like but I'm scrolling on the internet and I'm looking at these different posts where people are just basically dogging these movies, but they're not telling you the names of these movies. They're only calling them Tubi movies. And with them calling them
Mm,
Tubi movies, I'm thinking like, man, I'm seeing some of the same clips on different people's posts. I was like, man, they getting a lot of traction. I said,
mhm,
man, I should probably make a bad movie so I can get traction like this. Then I said, no, because the thing is, they're making these bad movies, but you don't know the names of these movies.
mm,
They're just dubbed Tubi movies.
mhm,
So basically, the people who were posting these movies, they were basically getting people ready to see Tubi movie,
mhm,
my movie. So I thought, let's make a self-aware comedy where the actors break character and
mhm,
complain about the same things that the viewer would complain about, so you can laugh with us instead of at us.
mm.
So that's where the concept came from.
Wow. It's funny because I did listen to also another interview you had, and I thought you had written it because you were trying to bring awareness to how challenging it is to create such a movie as well. I
Mm-mm.
mean,
No,
it's
no, no,
great
no.
that you
I
think that
never said
so many
that.
things. Oh, okay. Maybe I
No, no,
misinterpreted
no, no.
that.
I never said that. It was the whole. It's because of the streaming culture. It's making a movie. It's creating a movie that people who post these bad movies and dub them Tubi movies
Mm-hmm.
is creating a movie that they didn't know they wanted to see. Also, the people who react to their
Uh,
posts, they didn't know they wanted to see either. So you see this movie. Uh oh, we got a squad car going past, or ambulance, or fire truck. There you go. I'm sorry. Um, so you have these movies that people actually they just post these clips to get reactions, and they basically promoting this movie. Now, the twist to this movie is I although there's a lot of content I could have made fun of and I could have put
mm-hmm.
in this movie, I made sure I didn't do it because I'm not trying to make fun of those filmmakers. Although their
Mm-hmm.
movie's not the best, they still put their hard work and effort in. So it's not for me to talk bad to them. It's me to create a
Mm-hmm.
movie that everybody else is trying to recreate online by showing these bad movies by saying, "Come on, Tuba, you could do better than that." And my characters basically say, "Come on, you don't see that guy with the microphone right there? He's standing right there." You know. So with that in place, it creates a space for you guys to just laugh with us and not us not be the butt of everybody's posts and get reactions and comments talking about how bad the movie is because the
Right.
movie is not bad. It's actually a good movie. It's a
Mm-hmm.
good bad movie on purpose. It's very intentional.
Right. I could tell it was very intentional. And of
And
course, well, huh?
I'm just saying, and I also put the disclaimer at the very beginning.
Yes.
The disclaimer at the very beginning explains everything. So there's no confusion or trying to figure out if this was intentional. It says it's satire, and if
Mm-hmm.
you've made something that's similar to this, it's purely coincidental. It's not on purpose. And if you have made something similar to this, be a better filmmaker. So that's on you.
It's funny because I did hear you say that, and I'm so curious now because as I was watching it, of course, we couldn't help thinking, of what it reminded you of, right? Because of your
Hmm.
play on, movies. I'm so curious as to what you've heard about in terms of comparisons.
Well, some people said Hollywood Shuffle, but I said no. Hollywood Shuffle was a movie that's pretty much uh, full of sketches.
Hmm.
It's a movie that has sketches all throughout. Now, this movie that comes close, the only movie that comes close to this movie is pretty much, what's the name of that? I'm Gonna Get You Sucker. And there's one scene that I realized that from, and that was just recent, like 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
Have you ever seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker?
I think so. It sounds that's that the Richard Pryor?
Keenan Ivory Wayans movie.
Okay, it sounds familiar, honestly. I don't
Yeah.
tend to remember all the names.
Well, he was going to pick his mother up and his female friend, not girlfriend at the time, but his female friend up at the diner,
Mhm,
and then somebody came to the diner trying to, I guess, shake his mother down for money, and his mother
mhm,
started fighting everybody, but they pulled his mother out and replaced her with a stunt double, did not put
mm,
makeup on him, had a full mustache, white guy, and she was black. Did flips and
mhm,
everything, just had a wig on and a dress. So
mhm.
that was pretty much Tubi movie before Tubi movie. These bad movies, it was no Facebook back then. So what I did, I'm just mimicking what people put out on Facebook and
Right.
and bringing it to life. So that's why I call it a meta comedy. It's not a regular comedy. It has its own genre.
Yeah. Well, I'm dying to tell you which ones crossed my mind.
I'm listening.
So I started watching it, and then I decided, okay, let me start over, and then my husband and I watched it. So we all
What's
had
your husband
different
say?
thoughts.
What's your husband think about it?
The first thing across his mind was Monty Python.
Okay.
So, and I saw how, right? Because it was similar kind of satire, but um, I and the comparisons I made is not so much um because it was similar as much as there were things that reminded me of movies that I could see making fun of would be interesting, right?
Mhm.
So I thought of these two movies, which is, I know these movies because of my husband. Um, okay, I'll just tell you. One that crossed my mind was the Lock, Stock, and Two Barrel ones,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
and
So
mainly go ahead.
no, Guy Ritchie, I'm a fan of Guy Ritchie. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
Right, and you probably know which scene I'm thinking of that reminded me of that. And the other one that crossed my mind, believe it or not, and I still don't know why that one crossed my mind, but I thought of Black Adder.
Black who?
Black Adder. It's what's his name? The guy who acted Mr. Bean. Oh my gosh. Anyway, those were the Monty Python kind of, that kind of satire where you were making fun of, those were the ones that crossed my mind. So in my mind, it's like, okay, I guess it's maybe just a black version of it kind of thing, but I love the fact that the story was real, and that the story was real to one of the I think I stole your title because you talked about urban storytelling and black creatives.
Okay.
And so
So,
go ahead.
well, no, no, go ahead. I can hold mine. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. So that's also what made it so unique to me. But those movies cross my mind, if I were to think of similarity.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what is the opening scene is basically Pulp Fiction. I mean, not the opening scene. The opening credits to the second scene is Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
But I'm not making fun of Pulp Fiction. So the way I open it up, even though I have the bridges over playing and the title of Tubi movie pops up, it pulls it to the screen just like Pulp Fiction does, and it gets smaller as the credits pop in, just like Pulp Fiction. And
Okay.
the second scene is of Jules and Vince in the car having a
Mhm.
conversation. Damon and David are in the car having a conversation. Not similar conversation, but just a, a, a offshoot conversation that's not about anything dealing with the story. So I'm building right there.
Mhm.
And I just make sure that the reason why I did that is I wanted to make sure it felt familiar to everybody so they can continue watching.
Mhm.
And it's trying to
Right.
figure out where it's going to go and see if it's going to, seeing if I made a Pulp Fiction, which I didn't. I didn't make a Pulp Fiction, but I did open it up. And I think the most challenging thing for me for this movie was to make sure it had a beginning, middle, and end, because
Mm.
I didn't want to just be throwing different scenes that didn't make sense in and trying to get a joke out of it because it just basically turns into a movie that's full of sketches. And I would be
Mhm.
in the Hollywood shuffle range. I wanted, as you said, I wanted it to feel like a real movie.
Right.
And just the character, I mean, the actors breaking character, just to complain like, "Hold on, what are we doing? Why are we here? What's going on?" I wanted that more so than anything.
Right, I do remember. It's funny because when we were watching, we were wondering in the beginning why you gave it away a little bit, but I can understand a little bit why you did a little bit. You seem to have gave it away a little bit, especially when they were watching them, and they were going up the stairs.
Have to, and the reason why I have
Mhm.
to is because everybody isn't as sharp as you, if that makes sense. Because I've talked to people that were a lot less sharper than you, and they still don't understand the movie. I asked
Okay.
him, I said, "Did you see the disclaimer at the beginning?" "Yeah,
Mhm.
I thought it was gonna be more like a romance or action movie." "No, it's a comedy. It's satire." But I didn't like get it. "You didn't get that it was satire?"
Mhm.
"No." I said, "Okay." And it made me that sent me into a whirlwind of emotions because 'cause I'm like,
Mhm.
"Maybe I missed it." So then I
Mm-mm.
went and asked about probably 14 people. I'm thinking it was 14 people because I wasn't convinced with the first 5. I wasn't convinced with the the 10.
Mhm.
I stopped at 14, so I said, "If I get to 15, Imma be obsessive." And I left it alone. but everybody else said they understood what the movie's about and they got it. But that one person, and I, I mean, sometimes you have to make it. I try to make it as user friendly as possible
Mhm. Well, I
without
think you
insulting people who are as sharp as you.
I was trying to figure, okay, yeah, I'll take it as a compliment, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a compliment.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I thought it was funny. I thought that it got funnier as time went on as well. And, the ending was a little unexpected, but in a good way, which was nice. So I think you did succeed in having
And
that, but
I needed it to be an unexpected because if you're gonna watch a movie where you know it's gonna happen, why would you want to watch it? You know, so
right. Well, I think it's a great movie to talk about for sure, especially, when it comes to the education side of it and understanding, what is a satire and um now I didn't see the rest of your movies. I did notice. I looked at it afterwards and then I thought, how did I miss it? You had other movies. I was like, oh, I could have been watching and seeing what the others are.
you still
Um
can.
I will. I will. I mean, I didn't realize you had that many. I was like, "Oh." I mean, and I did go to your page, but I guess at the time I was just thinking more of that particular the 2B ones.
It's okay.
Now, if you compare this one with your other movies, I'm just curious as to whether or not your focus is satire or, you know, how you think about the others.
Well, the best way I can describe it is the way somebody else described it on another podcast on Black and Black Prime. He said, I saw a Tubi movie, then I kind of did a deep dive into your other movies. And I said, oh, he was just playing because he's like, oh, these are real movies down here. He said, no, Tubi movies are real movie, but it's satire. But these movies are movies that's not satire. Like Sex Ain't Love is it's a romantic comedy, but it's
Mhm.
not Tubi movie. Step Off the Block is a drama, but it's not Tubi movie.
Mm.
So when you watch those, you don't have this. It's just different. It's not the
Mhm.
same. So,
Wow.
if some people are, hey, you gonna do another school? I said, no, this is a shock movie. This is a one and done. If somebody else does another one similar to it, have at it. But for me to do another one, he's still doing that. No, I don't want you to ever say that. I don't want you to say that about me. He's still, oh, that was funny the first time. Oh, mm-mm.
Yeah.
I got other stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot more there to give and you just did it and you move on from it.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty much.
I completely understand.
Think my
Now,
last time,
hmm?
my I got a short film called My Last Time, and then
Mhm.
another short film called My Last Time Volume 2. Now,
Okay.
Volume 2 is a continuation. It's almost like a series. I was going to probably continue making those different dramas
Mhm.
because the way I look at drama is so if you like coffee, I like hot chocolate, and you don't like hot chocolate. I try to give you some of my hot chocolate, you're not gonna want it. You try to give me some of your coffee, I'm not gonna want it.
Mhm.
View drama because we all don't like the same thing.
Right.
Um, when I look at My Last Time is a drama about the first one is about addiction. Second one is about a guy from the streets doing something one last time. And I'll
Mhm.
continue it doing with different stories. But it becomes taxing because now I have to shoot these. I was going to do at least 7 or 8 of them and turn them into a full length feature film, but it becomes taxing because to shoot a short is almost the same amount of energy it is to shoot a feature.
Mm.
Believe it or not, you would
Mm.
think it's not, but it
Hmm.
is. Especially
In what
the way
way?
I shoot features. If you're
Mhm.
shooting one scene, it's not
Mhm.
that much. But if you're shooting multiple scenes in a short film, you might as
Mhm.
well stretch them out and just make the movie.
Ah, yeah.
Because My Last Time has different scenes in it. If you watch a third first, it's a short film. It's a long
Mhm.
short first. Long short film. I think it's like 13 minutes, but it's all shot in one location. My
Mm.
Last Time is shot at multiple locations. So is My Last Time Volume 2 shot at multiple locations.
Mhm.
Tender Looking Good is shot at multiple locations.
Mhm.
If, if I mean, I could have just made them longer and
Mhm.
made a whole movie. Now, was Work Dinner is shot at one location. which is better than having to go to you break the equipment down, you go to this location, you're getting like what a 1 minute of footage and then going somewhere else, get another minute, one more minute of footage when you could be getting 4 or 5 minutes of footage and you
Right.
not 4 or 5 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes of that story and you
Mhm.
putting together a whole entire movie.
Wow. Wow, it's a lot to think about. Now, for all of those movies, you also did the writing and the, producing, and you did everything, or was
I'm
there
the
any you
independent
had to help
filmmaker.
write? What's that?
Well, I'm the independent filmmaker. When you think about independent filmmakers, people usually say, I'm a writer, I'm a
Mhm.
producer,
Right.
I'm a director. I am all of that. And
Okay,
you
that
have
makes
to learn
sense.
how to do all of that because if you
Mhm.
don't, you'll be sitting around wondering what your next project is. And the
Wow.
reason why I write is because I don't need anybody telling me no or I
Mhm.
can. I tell
Makes
me
sense.
yes and no. I can. I'm the deciding factor.
Makes
You know,
sense. Yeah, I
makes it
understand.
easier.
Well, I understand too, especially when you're independent filmmaker. Um, you know, it just makes sense. Like, you know, I understand firsthand too because I do the producing and the the
Mm,
editing here and everything. So,
mhm.
I completely understand.
Yeah. But I don't have to ask for permission.
Right.
That's the most important thing. When you're
Yeah.
independent, you don't have to ask for permission. When you get in front of those studios and they say, well, we don't think that this is going to work. And you sit there going back and forth, and meetings after meetings after meetings to get a no. And then all of a sudden, sometime down the line where you're asleep and you have moved on, okay, we'll do it. And you already threw it out. So, if I have an idea, I do it.
Right. And you've
Not
also
if, when
done it.
I have an idea. Not if, when.
Mhm.
Except for the superhero movies, the scripts that I wrote. Um, those are properties of other companies that I really can't really talk about because Lord got
Yeah, yeah, I
he
understand.
has it. But those I'm not gonna do. But as far as everything else, I'm just if if I see it, I build it.
Mm,
No, when I see it, I build it. Not if. When I see it, I build it. Build it.
right.
I want.
Well, and I'm sure at this point you have a good talent for choosing your talent and knowing who fits and, you know,
Well,
what
the
do you look
crazy thing
for?
about it is I work with a lot of people in Chicago.
Wow.
So now I don't have to worry about saying, Catherine, can you please send me your audition tape in? I just
Mm,
call Letitia Estes and say, hey, Letitia, this is a good part for you. And
wow.
she says, okay. And
Nice.
she don't say, what is it about? What's the motivation? She just says, okay. Randall, I think you'd be good at this part. Okay. When we're shooting. That's it.
Wow. Oh, makes sense. Um, I do want to, let me see, should I work? I'm so curious. You focus on urban storytelling, right?
Really? No,
Am I
not
right?
really. Not
Okay.
really.
I think I saw one of that title somewhere in your work.
Yeah, it's titled somewhere, but I don't really believe that's not right.
No. Okay.
Um,
I'm glad you
I mean,
clarified. Yeah.
whatever comes to mind. So, I can be talking about actually this ain't Pulp Fiction is actually a movie that I wrote.
Mhm.
Elaine is another movie that I wrote. This ain't Pulp Fiction is about a slacker who works for a boss, ends up robbing his boss to show his girlfriend that he has some type of motivation, which he has a neighbor that kind of always gets the raw end of the stick, the good guy to finish last mentality. And then you go to Elena, which is about a female assassin. It's an action film that's having a midlife crisis because all her friends are pretty much booing up and talking about getting married, having kids, and all of a sudden
Mm,
she has a boyfriend now. She doesn't want to be an assassin anymore. So you have that's not an urban story,
right.
So it's just whatever comes to mind. And what's funny
Yeah, that
about
makes sense.
Elena was created in 2014 along with Sex Ain't Love.
Mhm.
So Sex Ain't Love, I created an opening for Sex Ain't Love and I created an opening for Elena. Now, both openings on paper were strong, but both openings shooting was not strong. So, um, I could make the woman be more comfortable with the opening of Elena, because the opening of Elena was basically she's a guy's kissing all over her. Once she gets in the room, she sees what she's supposed to steal, and she renders him unconscious.
Mhm.
When she came into the room, she was like basically like almost a mannequin, and then after that thing, she was more comfortable. I don't know if it was because of that opening scene or what, but she was a
Mhm.
mannequin. But then I showed everybody Sex Ain't Love, and everybody loved the opening scene of Sex Ain't Love, and that's where I went with it. That's when I
Mm.
put an Indiegogo campaign together and raised money to shoot
Mhm.
it, and the rest is history on that one. But
Mm.
Elena is still there, and I was trying to sell Elena, but I decided to rewrite it and make
Okay.
it better. Elena follows one character all along the whole entire movie. I don't like that because it's more people in the movie we can follow. There's
Mhm.
more characters in the movie that we can follow because everybody has story. And if you look at Tubi movie, it's a lot of story there.
Mhm.
So the young parents have their story. Jason and Everett have their story.
Mhm.
Erica has her story. Angie has her story. Those are four. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. Link has his story. So that's
Mm.
5 stories within one movie. And
Mhm.
I like doing movies that way because if you don't like character A, you can like B, C, and D and E. But if you don't like B, C, D, and E, you can like character A. It still gives you a reason to want to watch the movie because you like either all the characters or you like specific characters or you like the specific stories. So it
Mhm.
gives you the opportunity to and still be vested into wanting to see the movie.
Mhm.
It's almost like a magic trick.
Um, wow. You know,
I unpacked a lot. I'm sorry.
I'm so curious about some of your challenges, but you brought up something about storytelling. Um, it's something what can you talk a little bit about your training in storytelling? Because when it comes to education and schooling, a lot of times, kids hate to write. Sometimes kids hate to write,
I've
especially,
been making
you know.
stories up since I was young.
Mhm.
Playing with toys and not wanting to go outside, but just being. I was the only child, so
Ah.
one toy here, one toy there. All right, well, what's the story? He's trying to steal this. He's trying to get it. He's trying to catch him. So that's where it probably really started. And
Mhm.
I'm always envisioning different scenarios,
Mhm.
and I think when I learned that I knew how to write, which is in college, um, it was different because I wrote. The teacher asked. I can't remember what the paper was about. He passed me the
Mhm.
paper and was like, "Here." I said, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me." He said, "What?" I said, "It's A minus," and he said, "Yeah, you had typos and some misspelled words, but it's after that's pretty much good." I said, "But this is good." He said, "Yeah, you're a good writer." Just like that.
Wow.
Just as nonchalant as it could be. He said, "You're a good writer." And I was like,
Wow.
"Really? I'm a good writer? Huh, never knew." And from that point on, went to look into writing and script writing. And then that's when the teacher said that he he would have us write episodes to shows that were already on. So I think I wrote not I think I know I wrote a Frasier. And on
Mhm.
the top of my paper, he said, "You're not only a good writer, but you can write white comedy." I said, "Okay,
Did you say white as in WHITE?
yes." He said, "I can write white
Sorry.
comedy." I said, "Okay." I don't know what that means. Does it mean you gonna find me a job writing writing for one of these shows? Because I love when Frasier was on. I love Frasier, but you know,
Yeah.
I I just mimicking what I saw. I
Mhm.
just saw it on television, and it's like, all right, well, this is what it is. So
Yeah.
pretty much, it wasn't me trying to uh, write white comedy. It was just me just writing comedy because I don't. think of comedy as black or white. I think of comedy as funny, and that's the reason why I chose
Mm,
to focus more on comedy because comedy is a straight line. Everybody
mhm.
laughs. Drama
Right.
isn't. Drama is a curve. You know,
Mhm.
it might miss you. Like, I just don't understand why she just doesn't pull herself up by her bootstraps and just get a job. That's not her story. She can't.
Mhm.
She doesn't have high self-esteem. Why not? It's like, okay. So you're not empathetic with that because you don't get it because you didn't grow up that way. So it's hard to sell that drama to somebody. It's
Yeah.
hard to sell the drama to somebody about abusive woman that to another woman that's never been abused. It's like,
Right.
I don't know why she just won't leave him. Huh.
Mm,
Have you ever been in that situation? No, you haven't. So you don't know why. You don't know why that guy goes on the street and hustle. Yeah.
mhm.
Why he can't just get a job? He can just get a regular job. You don't know what
Mhm.
motivated him to get on the street and hustle. So, that's why drama is so hard. Comedy is a straight line.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to laugh.
Yep.
So there's no white or black comedy. There is slapstick comedy, which that's on both sides. When you think of Kramer coming into Seinfeld, he was slapstick all the way. But
Mhm.
Seinfeld, which is Jerry Seinfeld, George Costanza, Jason Alexander, and
Mhm.
Julia Dreyfus, those were the regular comedy. That's regular comedy.
Mm,
Kramer, which was what's Richards, he was slapstick.
mhm.
So, but comedy's still a straight line. Even though
Yeah.
slapstick can be funny in certain instances, it's still funny. It's straight line. It's like it's old white woman and a young black guy can watch the same thing and laugh, but they can
Mhm.
watch the same drama and not get it.
Wow.
It should be fine. All right.
You brought up more. I was just, I realize I'm so curious. It's funny you talked about regular, because the ones you mentioned, it's funny. I'm in the middle of watching, um, you know, kind of reruns, of course. I'm a fan of Fraser as well, and but it's very interesting because watching these, I have a new lens in which I'm watching them, right? Especially in light of everything that's happening. Um, I think now more. I enjoy them, but I also have a bit of a critical eye. Thinking about what defines regular, especially when it comes to the role of women, right?
Mhm.
And what's considered a norm and things that are said and done. Um, you know, so those are those are things that I'm thinking about now. Even as I rewatch some of you know, and then some that I used to watch. It's a little hard to watch now. I
Yeah.
wondered
I
how
mean,
much thought. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go
No, no.
ahead.
I was gonna
How
ask.
much? How much thought?
I was gonna ask how much thought when you think about movies and what's the norm. Thinking about women's role. You, how do you think about that? When you're making your movies as well.
Well, I really haven't thought about it, but I know I have a 19-year-old.
Mm.
So usually with her, I was just whatever movie they had a strong woman and it didn't matter what color she was, long as she was
Mm,
strong and she wasn't waiting for anybody to save her,
mm,
that's the movie we were watching. We watched The Fifth Element. We watched a couple of Mila Djokovic movies because it showed that she wasn't waiting on anybody to save her. She got up and saved herself.
mhm.
And I felt like that was very important when for her to see and not worry about I don't want her she already know I'm gonna save her, but I don't want her to worry about somebody else saving her. I want her to
Right.
be like, okay, well, you know what? We're in this situation. Okay, my dad told me to do X, Y, Z, and I want those things to be locked, which I don't even have to want. They are locked in her head. She just told me recently. She said, "I never realized all the stuff that you told me how much it would matter right now.
Mm,
Thank you." And I almost cried. Almost
wow.
cried. Yeah, I almost cried. I don't I I didn't think of any different roles. Like, so in Tubi movie, the women are, well, it's three main women. Well, actually four, because uh, Jessica, she has one small role, but it's hers is major because she pulls a point of pointing out how filmmakers use women's beauty to basically push and sell the movie. But
Mhm.
in these roles, I had people, I mean, had the women basically confronting whatever's going on in that circle, I mean, in their scene, and actually, I guess, not balling up and going into a corner and crying, which I
Mhm.
didn't want. I wanted them
Yeah.
to be able to handle that. And
Mhm. I did see
when
that.
the when the yeah when the women when you see the women in this movie, they're like, you know what, I'm out, pretty much. I don't
Mhm.
have no, I don't want to hear any lies. I don't want to hear any stories. I'm cool.
Mhm.
Stay
Yeah.
with where you are, and I'm good. I'm gone. Opposed
Mhm.
to, usually you see the guy, let me just talk to you for one moment. Come here. I'm sorry. And then they hug it out, and he turn around and do it a month later or a week later or a day later or an hour
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. You had him walk away, which is, it's not so regular.
No, no.
Yeah.
So, so you enjoyed the movie, huh?
I did. I did enjoy it. My husband enjoyed it. We were cracking up.
You were
I
cracking up.
yes.
What was your favorite part?
Oh my gosh. What was my favorite part? I think the part I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember which one had me laughing more. Well, yeah, okay. So one of them that's crossing my mind is when they were trying to decide, they were all standing together. I did watch it a couple weeks ago. So
Okay.
they were all trying to decide who would do the job and who would be the bad guy. And they were all confused about, you know, who the bad guy role is and whether they were going to steal the stuff. Yeah, I remember, I think it was three or four guys standing talking together.
I get.
I think that part had me cracking up if I remember
I
correctly.
like that because everybody has their different parts. I have a friend that she says she loves the part with me and my daughter in it, where we talking about the cars, as with the toy cars.
Toy cars.
Yeah, it's she's in it. She was like, I don't know how to do this, and I'm like, no, you got to, But the whole thing is that's the only part of the movie that was actually improv. That's the only part of
That's
the movie.
interesting.
Every every other part of the movie was written. Nothing else was improv. And the follow scene went kind of long, so I decided to drop
Mhm,
that in just
mhm,
as a ha ha ha, and it hit well. It hit really well
mhm.
because they said, "Oh, he put his daughter in there. It's so cute," and then she's like, "Dad, I'm cold." I said, "Director," and you know,
So that was actually a real a real
yeah,
dad,
yeah,
appropriate age dad. Yeah,
yeah,
I thought that was funny too. Just
yeah.
how you swap those roles. Um, I have to make note of that. It's funny when I think back at things. I'm trying to figure out which part made me laugh. Now when it comes to okay, so you went to college, and was it in an English class you discovered that aha moment, or was it a script writing class?
What do you consider
Do
aha
you
moment?
remember? When you said when you got an A minus, I'm just curious.
So the way I got introduced to video in general was in high school, and I
Okay.
was in English class, and when I was in
Mhm.
English class, the teacher pushed this television in. It was the end of the year, freshman year, and
Mhm.
when she pushed this television in, and she showed us this video, I was like, "Oh, they must be coming to the school, whoever's the people in this video." And then
Uh-huh.
she turned the TV off and said, "How many people in here would like to learn how to make a video like this?" I raised my hand straight away. Then she said, if you do, sign up for my class. I said, I'll sign up for your class today. So I was I signed up for the class, and that from there,
Wow.
and then when I learned I knew how to write, which I didn't know, was in English. It was in college, English in
Mhm.
college, and that's when
Wow.
I got the A minus, and that's when I actually put forth more of an effort to write because I didn't
Mhm.
know I know how to write. I just
Oh.
put words together and hope for the best. But when he told me I was a good writer, and then I started paying attention to what I was actually doing to make myself a good writer, I looked over this. Oh, I was about to say the script. I looked over the paper. I said, so if I do this again, let's see. I did it again, and that time I got an A. He said, because
Wow.
you had some typos. Not, I said, I
Mhm.
ain't had no misspell. He said, you didn't have misspelled words, you just had typos. So then next time I got A plus. So,
Mhm.
that's what pushed me through because I kept trying to I learned from my mistakes and try to
Mhm.
best or be better the next time.
Wow.
I didn't want to do just enough to get an A. I wanted to do better than an A.
Right.
And that's what pushed me to be better at writing. And
Mhm.
now with script writing, I can I have to write because I have to give the actors scripts to work with, but most of the time it's up here. And it's
Mhm.
weird because it's up here and I can tell you the story from front to back, I think 100 times until I write it out. Once I write it out, I lose
Mm.
all of it.
Okay. So you
It's
do a lot of
weird.
your thinking up here, which I
Yeah,
understand.
I'll
Mhm.
Rain Man it. Like, so if we on out on the phone, we're talking, I got this idea. And he's like,
Mhm.
oh, what's the idea? And I start telling you about it. And he said, oh, I was thinking, I said, shh, be quiet, Catherine. Give me a second. And then I start talking for like 20 or 30 minutes. And I said, okay, good talk. And then they get off the phone with me. They just hold the phone and let me just Rain Man it out. And then I'll Rain Man the whole movie out and then just start writing pretty
Wow.
much. Yeah, it's a weird thing. It's very weird.
Yeah, everybody has their own processes. You want to think about, you think it through a lot. It's funny because whenever I have conversations about writing, sometimes I have to describe how that everybody goes through it differently. Some people think about it a lot and before they start to write, and some people just write everything they think about. And you kind of have to let them know. You might be the person who needs to just get rid of what you put down immediately, right? Because
It's
you
in
write
my
everything.
head. I don't have to get rid of it. It just sits there until once I
Mm-hmm.
push it out, it goes away. So
Wow.
now just say for instance I write half the script. I write half the script, it's still there, but once I get
Mm-hmm.
to fade to black, it's gone. I don't remember any of it. And it's weird. Because
Wow.
before I used to be able to write a script and then we doing table reads at school. And I'm like, no, you're not saying it like the right inflection. But now I hear them saying stuff wrong and I can't catch it. That's why I have to have a script supervisor because wearing all those hats, because when I'm framing a shot or watching the shot being framed or watching them act through the monitor, I'm focused on the performance and not what's being said. And not until I'm editing will I know that they didn't say what they need to say to drive the scene forward.
Mm. Wow. Now, did that moment determine what you would major in? Or did you already decide on what your major in? And was your major?
My major was television post production, everything dealing with TV, producing TV. And once I once I left college, or not left college, once I graduated, I stopped liking TV because TV has started becoming something different. And I like movies more because we're not in one small space, we're everywhere. And with us
Mm.
being everywhere, different it's a different vibe. Television
Yeah.
it keeps you in a small space.
Mhm.
Film, we could be in Chicago today, Toronto tomorrow, on a
Mhm.
plane on our way to China. So, but that's the adventures of filmmaking because you are every everywhere in all places all but once. I forgot what's the name of that movie? Everything, everywhere, all at once, something like that. But that's what filmmaking is to me. You're everywhere. You're not just stuck in an office building unless you want to be, but it has to be real compelling. It has to be a real compelling story for us to sit there for an hour and a half to watch you be stuck in an office building because I don't think it's going to be interesting. unless, because, oh, the building's about to blow up. Oh, okay. Somebody's gonna find the bomb. Oh, okay. No, how
Yeah.
you get out of that building? What's happening outside that building? What's happening to the people that's in that building? Are people,
Right.
is that couple that's having an affair, is that it's gonna become a boiling point, or are they deciding they're gonna just break off from their spouses and be together? It's a whole bunch
Mm-hmm.
of story in that building, not just the bomb.
Mm, right. Unless it's comedy, right?
I mean, still, it's still a lot of story in that
Yeah.
building, not just the bomb,
Mhm.
So,
um.
hey.
Well, how do you think? So, were you born and bred in Chicago? I was just
Mhm.
curious how Chicago you think maybe being in Chicago has influenced, what type of narratives you create.
No. So, Imma tell you this, okay. So, my first movie was Kidnapped, and that was about an FBI agent going undercover to catch the bad guy, crime boss.
Mhm.
So, that's
Okay.
pretty much TV. So,
Mhm.
I like Scarface the
Like,
Rapper. Have you ever heard of Scarface the Rapper? He had a song
mm-mm.
called Good Girl Gone Bad, which is
Okay.
Good Girl Gone Bad is a drug deal that went bad,
Mm.
which I made a 3-minute movie, I mean, a 38-minute short film called My Enemy's Son. So, A Good Girl Gone Bad which is a drug deal gone bad, which resulted into My Enemy's Son, which was the name of my movie. So, when I wrote that movie, it was basically, as you call it, urban story, and,
Mhm.
uh, I showed it to one of my friends, and this is before I showed it to anybody, and he was like, "Will, you're better than this. You know more stories than just this. We know you know about the streets, but what else do you know?" And he got me to thinking. Like, I don't owe the streets nothing. I don't I don't have to tell that story over and over again. We see it every day on the
Mhm.
news. We see it right now.
Mhm.
We see it online. We see it on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, people posting dumb stuff. I don't have to tell that
Mm.
story anymore because it's not
Mm.
authentic.
Mhm.
So I got into telling different stories, which were better than the story that I was telling because
Mhm.
it was almost My Enemy's Son almost glorified that life. So I stepped away
Mhm.
from that. I created If I
Yeah.
Die Tomorrow, which didn't glorify the life, which a guy in that life finds out that he has 24 hours to live. That's a short film.
Mhm.
I created
Mhm.
something like that. Then we get to Step Off the Block. Step Off the Block was trying to save the youth. But again, everybody that sees that story, it doesn't resonate. My kid, he doesn't have to worry about nobody getting shot at. Worry about getting shot at. Why does he have to worry about getting shot at? I don't get it. I don't understand. I get why that movie didn't pop like it was supposed to. I also get why Sex
Right.
Ain't Love did because it was a comedy. It was a romantic comedy. It was a
Mhm.
love story
Yeah.
about a guy who didn't know what love is, and it's a lot of guys that don't know what love is until it knocks them over the head, or it's almost too late. Because in Sex and Love, it's
Mm.
almost too late.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to do a lot of laughing these days.
Yeah, because that
It's
guy
certainly a
in
better
that
thing to do.
that guy in that office is sure doing a lot of crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what are let's just say kids growing up right now want to do what you're doing. What are some but not even that. People who want to do what you're doing, what are some challenges they need to be aware of for just, you know, producing, writing and getting a movie out? What are some challenges to really
Well,
getting you
you need
through
to
this?
try to have your own equipment. Yeah, I mean, you can
Mm,
rent, but you always got to give it
mhm,
back. You got to buy insurance. So by the time you finish doing all that, probably 5 times you didn't bought the equipment. So you might as
mhm,
well buy your own equipment. You want to work with people that respect you.
mm,
If you're a writer, you want to learn how to write a script. And the best advice I can give you is to write. To read the book story. That was a good. It's about big as the Bible, but it's a good
mhm,
book. And helps you break down the characters and help you create the characters.
Mhm.
And as far as the production side, you need to know every aspect you can to make sure that the people that you have working for you are doing the job that you need them to do, but to make
Mm.
sure that everything flows smoothly and you can create a plan where you are the captain of the ship and and all your deckhands are doing the things they need to do to make sure that the production rolls through perfectly.
Mhm.
Because as far as I go, I'm efficient.
Mhm.
I take 4 hours. It's a 4 hour shoot day for me. The first hour, I bring all the equipment, set it up. Second hour, the crew show up. Third and fourth, which is 2 hours shoot time, that's
Mhm.
the cast come in, we shoot, and they go home. There's no 12-hour shoot days for me. So
Mm.
nobody gets fed, and the reason why they don't get fed is because I paid you already. You go get your own food.
And you keep it to 4 hours.
Yeah, and I mean, we can stay here longer, and you wanna stay
Right.
here 12 hours, and we sitting around talking, but I don't
Right.
wanna stay here longer. I wanna be in and out and be efficient. All I need is
Mhm.
one good shot, and you have to and then you say, what I would tell somebody that's trying to start out, make sure that you're efficient,
Mm.
because if you stay on set for 12 hours, people are not going to wanna work with you more.
Right. Yeah.
More means they'll work with you twice, but last time I was on set with him, it was daytime when I got there. You know, it was nighttime when I left. Or when don't if you have a scene that has multiple people, but uh actor A doesn't shoot until 1 o'clock and you're there at 9, don't have them get there at 9. Have them get there at 1 o'clock and shoot your regular other characters early and get them out of the way so when actor A gets there, they can get in there and knock theirs out. Don't just have them sitting around falling asleep
Mm.
waiting for their part
Right.
because it doesn't add anything to it. It's that
Mm.
whole hurry up and wait syndrome. Like, oh, come on, hurry up, come get here. And the other thing is, don't walk into the location with your actors, with your equipment. So you setting it up, have your stuff set up by the time they get there. It keeps you
Mhm.
efficient, stops them from asking you questions while you're trying to put stuff together. Because when they start asking you questions while you're putting stuff together, you forget stuff. You forget
Yeah.
what to put to all of that. So
Mhm.
I've experienced all of
I
the
can see
stuff that
that.
I'm telling you not to do
Mhm.
because I learned the hard way,
Yeah.
trial and error.
Right. And, is a part of being prepared and, respecting everybody's time um and understanding even what that means, right? As you
Yeah,
do it.
showing up on
Yeah.
time, being on
Mhm.
time, period. That respects everybody's time. Then if somebody show up late, everybody else is like, "Wait a minute, Catherine showed up late? I guess I won't show up on time next time because Catherine showed up late. She not better than me." And it gets like that.
Yeah, I imagine. Um so in terms of so what one thing that crossed my mind as you were talking is, especially when it comes to storytelling, I could very easily see, kids today with the onset of AI saying, "Oh, I don't need to know how to write. I could just have AI do it." What would you say to them? What advice do you have for
Try it if you
them?
want to because
What's that?
they can try it if they want to. What happens is on the surface, everybody's like, "Oh man, that's so great." And then
Mhm.
after you continue to see the same thing duplicated over and over again, it's not great anymore. Is AI does the same thing over and over again. So you'll see
Mhm.
something once, just like Tubi movie came out once. And if I did it again, you'd be like, he doing that again. So AI is the same way. AI does it evolves, but it does not know how to evolve when it comes to something like storytelling.
Right. Mhm. Absolutely.
That's
I
how I
think
feel about
one
it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel that way as well. I think that that'll be the big that'll be the big thing that separates, I think, people, who are successful in a lot of things, um, and people who are not, uh,
Well,
just trying
studios
to.
are making movies now so you can scroll while you watch them, and that's not the way you want to watch a movie. You don't want to
Mm,
scroll through your phone while you want to be fully engaged. If you watch a Tubi movie, you have to be fully engaged because if you
you do.
don't, you're gonna miss the jokes.
Right.
So even watching it, you miss the
And
jokes
rewind.
because you're laughing through other jokes.
Mhm.
So, you know, and AI, if AI follows the suit of the studio, it'll be here and it'll be gone. Right now, it's this whole vertical craze. Oh, these movies
Mhm.
are vertical. I'm like, yeah, you no, it's basically books on video now
Mhm. Yeah.
because guy walks in, he everybody thinks he's poor, but he's really rich. There's a whole lot of exposure. There's no showing there's no showing through visuals. It's all explained to you. And that's
Mhm.
exactly what a book does. A
Mhm.
book does that. And
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, wow, you know, the Chinese people are making a lot of money on these vertical." I said, Have at it. Have at it." I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think verticals are great because there's a lot of exposure. I don't wanna create a movie that you use your phone as I mean, using the movie as background and your phone as a foreground because
Mm.
whatever's on your phone is not as important as this movie that I took my blood, effort, and tears to make.
Yeah, I think with a lot of things, I think we're going through a phase that we're gonna be either very tired of soon or wear ourselves out.
I mean, it's just like with social media. Everybody they sit there scrolling, and then it's Netflix. Everybody got Netflix. How many people can you talk to have seen actual movies on Netflix without sitting there for hours by watching just previews? Watching previews for hours and like, yeah, that's okay, and just turns it off. You can watch probably 80 previews and then just turn Netflix off and turn the television off and go to sleep.
Mm.
There's a lot of people out there like that.
Well.
You go to Netflix for a specific thing. You go, oh, Cat Williams special on? I'm going to Netflix to see that.
Mhm.
But if you're going to Netflix to see, hey, let me see what's on tomatoes on Saturn, what is this? You know, tomatoes on Saturn? Oh, the Jeep Wrangler boys. What is the nah? It's a whole bunch of nah. And then I can't watch dub movies at all. I rather read the subtitles. It takes it away from me. I'd rather read the subtitles
Okay.
because watching a dub movie and seeing their lips not move right, and I'm like, they're not really. What are they saying? What are they really saying? Tell me, what are they really saying? And the voices don't match. Oh, it's just wild.
Well, it depends on, if it's a lot of action, then maybe they don't need to, right?
I the voices don't match. The voices don't match the character.
Uh,
Hi, I thought you were gone. I'm like, wait a minute, you black. Hold on. So, all right. Well,
um, so I do have one more question for you. Um, so when it comes to, I'm always thinking about, you know, kids and, education. What type of character do you think, kids need to have, to have the type of, to accomplish what you're doing? Like, what advice would you give
yeah.
to them? And then
You have
I'm
to
going to go to
have
you, Steve, and see if you're
if
ready.
you're gonna start something, finish it. That has to be in your character.
Mm,
That has to be your character put all the way through. Because
mm,
sometimes the finish line is not in sight. Sometimes the finish line is so far away, it's so far down the way and around the corner, you don't even see the light. But you have
mm,
to have the will and the push to want to finish. That has to be you have to make that part of your character. Even if it's not part of your character, you have to make it part of your character. I was told
mhm,
once a while ago, it's like they said, well, I didn't think he was gonna finish the movie. I was like, why would you say that? Well, I knew you would finish it if I said that to you. I'm like, because they said you never finish what you started. I'm like, what? So I finished the movie. I knew if I told you that you would finish it. I said, I don't like the Jedi mind trick. Just tell me you don't finish nothing. You need to focus on finishing stuff. You don't need to go around about telling me I'm messing up. Just tell me I'm messing up. I feel like that's a better way.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have
Wow.
to have the at the start and finish, no matter what. I don't care. If say for instance, it's not everything that's in the script is not right, figure out how to make it make sense and
Mm-hmm.
and still put it out. Because although it's not done
Mm-hmm.
to the best ability of the script, it's still done. And you
Mm-hmm.
still owe it to yourself plus everybody that had something to do with the movie to put it out. So eyes can be on it.
Yeah, I
So
actually, just for everyone, I did post a link to your movie in the YouTube.
you can send it to Plex. Plex, that's where I
Oh
can make
no, she
money
has
off of.
access. What's that?
Okay. Plex is where I make money.
The Plex.
Yeah, she
I
goes to
think
Plex to watch it.
I'm not sure
You watch
if
it on
that's the
Vimeo.
one. What's that?
You watch it on Vimeo. That's the
No,
screener link.
I watched it before she sent me that link.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, well,
Cha-ching.
I wanted to
I
search
said cha-ching.
thoroughly what's that?
Cha-ching. Because you watched it. If you watched it on the platform, that means you helped me get money.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did watch it. She wondered what your Instagram was.
Well, Adam Chicago.
She said you'll follow him, huh? Will Adams Chicago.
Hmm.
Okay. And so the link to the movie is also there in the live YouTube at the bottom. I did put link to movie, so you'll be able to see it there as well. And it, for anyone who wants to look at it.
Cool
And
beans.
okay, awesome. So, well, any last notes or comments? Let me check you and make sure there was no other thing I missed.
Well, I
Any
appreciate you
last
having me
notes?
on your show, and LOKEKY.com is my website. And I I appreciate your questions. They were nice. You said you're gonna give me some hard questions. Uh, Thank you for sparing me.
Well, I phrase them so they're not so hard, right?
User friendly, because I might not be as sharp as you. I got you.
No,
It's okay.
that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, there are always topics. I like to just, the whole idea is for people to get to know who you are and to understand the best of you, especially as it relates to, you see his, okay, so she said she got it. She's following you, especially as it relates to, your work, your, what I call your zone of genius. And especially when it comes to thinking of, Black representation of curriculum and what it means, what can they learn about you, especially when it comes to, all of this is figuring out, well, what do we need, right? What do we need to know? What do we need to understand? And I think we can learn it a lot from our individual lived experiences.
I
So,
agree. I agree.
well, that's, yeah, I agree too. But yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I do appreciate it. And any last things before we end?
LOKEKY.com. You can see the movie, you can see my past work, and you can find all my socials at the bottom of that page.
Hmm. And I will
That's it,
add
I
that.
think. I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah. And I've added that link, and I will add them to the podcast when it comes out. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for listening today to our live podcast with Will Adams, producer and filmmaker. And if you like this episode, please like and follow so you can be alerted for the next episodes. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.